What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Triple THS, brought to you by Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com. I'm the John Jones PR person of mixed martial arts, Tommy Toehold. Today, my UFC on Fox 14 picks. Let's do this shit! Hashtag the time is motherfucking now. The UFC is on fire with their cards lately. UFC 182, UFC Conor McGregor, and now UFC on Fox 14. That's right, fight fans. This card coming up Saturday night is on free TV on Big Fox because the Super Bowl's not for another week and the Pro Bowl sucks all sorts of balls. How in the flying fuck could you not watch Gus versus Rumble? Two of the best light heavyweights in the fucking world. This card has some badass Euro fighters on it. You are gonna want to watch it. Maybe you don't know a ton of guys on the prelims, but guess the fuck what? There's this thing called Kountermove Fantasy MMA, and not only is it going to help you learn who everybody is, it's going to make every single fight feel as big to you as the main event because you actually give a fuck about the outcomes. Why do you give a fuck about the outcomes? Because you could win $1,000 fucking dollars. That's why. If I told you a game of beer pong was going to get you $1,000, you'd remember that thing for the rest of your fucking life. Kountermove Fantasy MMA at Kountermove.com will make a fun night with friends, beer, and pizza the most fun you've ever had. And since I am the nicest fucking cartoon this side of Tom and Jerry, I'm gonna let you know how to play, and then I'm gonna break down every fucking fight on this card so you can pick like a boss and beat your loser ass friends who didn't watch this video. Let us do this shit. All right, first thing you need to do is head to Kountermove.com. At the top of the page, you will be stunned into paralysis by the holy shit that is professional hot person and sole survivor of a zombie apocalypse because she can run forever, Natasha Wicks. Once you have regained the use of your limbs, check out the different games available at the bottom of the page. There are big games, small games, free games. You know what? Create your own fucking game. You want it, we got it. Burger King, have that shit your way. But the tourney I want to play in, the one you're going to want to play in too, is my $10,000 big money tourney. $25 gets you in. The top 77 pay out. The winner's getting a cool grand. God damn, that sounds like good fucking times. Once you've chosen your game, you'll be brought to the team selection screen. This is where Willy Wonka makes all his candy. You have $25,000 for $10 to draft a team of 5 fighters. Your fighters perform. You rack up points. If you have the most points at the end of the night, you're the fucking winner. If you didn't understand what I just told you, listen to it again. And if you don't understand it the second time, you might want to call a doctor. It is simple and easy, fight fans. It's like a one-day fantasy football game, except we're talking about fighters. Now notice that I said fantasy, which means this isn't about straight up picks. You're not at the Bellagio. Your points are based on performance. That means if your fighters win big and fast, you're gonna get more points than if your fighter loses or gets a close decision without a lot of action. You want finishes and early for the big points. So with that in mind, let's look at this fucking card and see who it is that's gonna rack up the points on Saturday night. All right, first up, we've got Akira Corassani versus Sam Sicilia. Corassani has a 58% finish rate. He has lost 5 times via KO, including 2 straight in the UFC. His last finish was in 2010 before his UFC career. Sicilia has an 85% finish rate. He's got 7 KOs and 4 subs. He's lost 3 times via sub himself. His last 2 losses in the UFC were subs. He finished Gogofredo Castro back in 2013. Corassani doesn't finish often enough to pick him here. Sicilia has heavy hands. I think he's a pretty solid pick at an 85% finish rate. And with Corassani having 5 KO losses, I would definitely go with Sicilia on this one. Next, we've got Andy Ogle taking on Makwan Amirkhani. Ogle has a 66% finish rate on 9 wins. He's got 5 losses, mostly via decision. He has lost his last 3 in the UFC, and he has never had a finish in the UFC. Amirkhani, aka Mr. Finland, is making his UFC debut, has 80% of his wins via sub, with all sorts of sub variety, but they were against less elite opponents than he's gonna see in the UFC. Ogle has the high-level experience here, but has really struggled so far in the UFC. Amirkhani is a whiz on the ground. I think you only have 2 options on this one. Avoid Ogle because the 5,200 is way too much with his finish rate and UFC record, or take a chance and go with the debut fighter Amirkhani to catch Ogle in an early sub. Next, we have Neil Siri and Chris Beal. Siri has a 79% finish rate in 14 fights, only has 1 fight in the UFC, and that went to a decision. He's lost 5 times via sub. He's 35 years old, and he's been fighting since 2005 professionally. He's got a lot of miles. Beal is unbeaten with 10 wins and a 70% decision rate. He's had 2 fights in the UFC. He beat Patrick Williams via flying knee. He's got no sub wins. I would avoid this one. Siri has not fought enough at the highest levels to make for a really solid pick here. And Beal, 70% finish rate. If you have to go with anyone, go with Beal. He's younger. He's shown KO power, but I'm not touching this one. Next, we've got Kenny Robertson taking on Sultan Alvey. Robertson has an 85% finish rate with 9 subs. He won his last 2 in the UFC, has a 50% finish rate and 2 subs in his UFC career. Alvey is making his UFC debut. He has 13 wins, 10 via KO. 3 of his last 4 finished in the first round. Has some really creative transitions on the ground. Very powerful guy. Strong grappler. He's chucking dudes around like he's Cormier. This one is my upset pick. I watched a few Alvey fights. I think he's gonna swarm Robertson. I think either way you go with this one, you're gonna want one of these dudes on your team. I'm going with Alvey. He's cheap. He's got a bunch of first round finishes, and most of the people in your game aren't even gonna know who the fuck he is. Next, we've got Mirsad Bektic taking on Paul Redmon. Bektic is unbeaten at 8 fights. He has a 75% finish rate. 1 fight in the UFC. He won via majority decision. Redmon is making his UFC debut. He won his last fight via toe hold because he's a fucking boss. Has a 90% finish rate, has lost via sub 3 times, and has never won a fight in the first round. This one is kind of a question mark. On the one hand, both of these guys have a high finish rate, but on the other hand, neither of these guys have a ton of high-level experience. It's a toss-up. If you need a pick that will probably get a finish, this isn't a bad fight, but I would go with a more proven pick in another fight if you can. Next, we've got Victor Pesta taking on Constantine Irokin. Pesta is 9-1 with a 77% finish rate. He lost his UFC debut via decision. He has 6 first-round finishes. Irokin is making his UFC debut. He's got an 89% finish rate. All his finishes come via KO. He's a big, stocky motherfucker. Has 9 first-round finishes. Has only lost once via a back fist. He took Brett Rogers to a decision and won. This fight is a must. It's 2 big-ass dudes that are going to be blasting each other. Irokin is the shorter fighter, but it looks like he's been destroying people. I'm going with Irokin. He is definitely worth the 5,000. Next up, we've got Marabek Tysomov taking on Anthony Kristalo. Tysomov has 22 wins with 10 KOs and 10 subs. Got a 90% finish rate. He won his last fight in the UFC in the first round via TKO. He is only 26, but has fought at a pretty high level for a while now. He's been a pro since 2007. Kristalo is 12-4 with a 66% finish rate. He is making his UFC debut. He's got a bunch of first round finishes, but they're against lower level competition. His last 2 wins come via decision. Tysomov has the experience. He's fought at a high level for a very long time. He has UFC experience and a 90% finish rate. Put this motherfucker on your team. He's a strong pick. Next, we've got Nicholas Musoke taking on Albert Tumanov. Musoke is fighting out of Sweden. He has 13 wins with a 69% finish rate. Has only been stopped once via sub. He took Kelvin Gastelum to a decision, which he lost. He finished Alessio Sakara in the first round via armbar in his UFC debut. Tumanov has 13 wins with 9 KO finishes. He has won his last 2 UFC fights in the first round via KO. He's got a 68% finish rate, a bunch of first round finishes. Tumanov is hot right now. He's the more likely fighter to get an early finish. I'm going with Tumanov on this one. All right, next up, we've got Stanislav Nedkov taking on Nikita Krylov. Nedkov has an 83% finish rate. He's got 6 KOs and 4 subs. Has lost once in his career via TKO to Tom Watson in his last fight. Was subbed by Thiago Silva, but was turned into a no contest for a failed drug test. He has 9 first round finishes, but most of them are lower level talent. Krylov is only 22. He's got 17 wins with a 100% finish rate, 7 KOs and 10 subs. He's lost 3 times via sub. Every single win he has had is in the first fucking round. Has lost in the UFC, but to some really tough talent in OSP and so of the Hulk. Fight fans, Nikita Krylov is probably the most counter-move fucking fighter I've ever seen. I get why this fight is even money because Krylov's losses in the UFC, but holy shit, fight fans, when Krylov is on, he always finishes, and he always finishes in the first fucking round, and he's only $4,800. Put this dude on your team. All right, moving into the big names, we've got Ryan Bader taking on Phil Davis. Bader's been at a high level for a very long time. He's got a 56% finish rate. He's got 6 KOs and 4 subs. He won his last 3 all via decision. His last finish was Vladimir Machashenko in 2013. Really good wrestler. And speaking of really good wrestlers, Phil Davis, also very strong wrestler. He is 13-2 with a 46% finish rate, 2 KOs, 4 subs, 7 decisions. Has lost twice in the UFC via decision. Once to Rumble, once to Rashad. Both very high level guys. His last 3 wins were decisions. I think Phil Davis wins this fight, but I'm not so sure that he finishes here. I see this one going the distance. I would avoid it, fight fans. All right, next up, we've got a legend fight. Dan Henderson, he's taking on Gegard Mousasi. Hendo has 30 wins, 14 via KO. He's got a 54% finish rate, tons of experience, but he is 44 years old, and he is no longer taking TRT. He has lost 4 of his last 5 fights, but he did blast Shogun and break his face. The dude still has big, scary power. Mousasi is 29, but has just as many fights as Hendo, basically. In 35 wins, he has an 85% finish rate. That is a good stat. He's never been KO'd. He did lose his last fight to Jacare via sub. He has definitely not shown his best in the UFC, minus that first round sub of Mark Munoz. The dude has fought everybody everybody everywhere. 10 years ago, I would have said Hendo on this one, but at 44 sans TRT, I see Gegard winning here. I could also see him getting the stop. Musoke is a pretty solid pick for your team, fight fans. And finally, we got the main event, Anthony Rumble Johnson taking on Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson. Rumble has 18 wins, 12 via KO. He has a 67% finish rate. He's got 2 wins straight. He has 2 wins straight since returning to the UFC. He dominated Phil Davis and destroyed Lil Nog. Tons of high-level experience, has fought everybody at every weight class. It is crazy how much weight this dude has cut in his career, but he's back at 205. He's looked very strong. As a matter of fact, he's looked like a straight-up fucking killer lately. He has been subbed 3 times in his career, though. Gustafsson has 16 wins with 10 KOs and 3 subs. He has an 81% finish rate, lost once via sub to Phil Davis early in his UFC career. He is the only person to ever give John Jones any real trouble. He won his last fight via TKO against a very tough Jimmy Minowa. He's got 2 sub wins in the UFC. He has never been knocked out. I know we're in Sweden here, fight fans, but I think Rumble is on a roll right now. He looks like an absolute killer at 205. He's proven he can handle a strong wrestler in Phil Davis, and Gus only has a 1-inch reach advantage. I think Rumble is a killer for counter move. He is going to shock the world yet again. If he doesn't get an early stop, I think he dominates the fight. I'm going with Rumble for the win. Now that we've gone through your options, you're going to want to pick a team of 5 fighters. You can pick whoever the fuck you want. I'm going with Sultan Aliyev, Constantine Irokin, Mirabek Taisumov, Nikita Krylov, and Anthony Rumble Johnson. Once you've got your team of 5, hit the play now button, invite some friends to come along on this magical journey with you, then come fight night, you can check out how your team is doing against the rest of these motherfuckers playing against you. It is a free card Saturday night with some huge fights on it, lots of guys with high finish rates. Grab a beer, grab some friends, order some wings, and then jump in a fantasy MMA game at Kountermove.com. If you get in my tourney, you could win some big money. If you and your buddies make your own tourney, bragging rights are on the line. It is a fucking blast. I play every single card, and from the prelims to the final bell of the main event, I am fucking hooked. Sign up today, fight fans. Kountermove.com. It is fantasy MMA. What the fuck are you waiting for? For everybody Triple THS, I'm Tommy Toehold. I will see you on the leaderboards, and I may or may not see you at the White Castle at 3 in the morning while I eat an entire Crave case by myself. Do not look directly into my eyes while I'm eating.